Okay, to start the top and the bottom, the first thing is to cut the blocks we need so that we can slice them and book match them into the pieces. So I'm going to lay the template on here, and I'm going to leave a little extra room, about 1/4 of an inch, or about 7 or 8 millimeters on the top and the bottom. Then I'm just going to make a straight cut across the top. I'm going to measure out the other end for the back piece, leaving a little extra room there as well. Now you can see the block. And the idea is just like we did the sides. You set up your aluminum bars, take your flush cut saw, and you slice down through the middle of this block. Just cut it evenly in half. Then we're going to open it up so that the two sides will be book matched. Now you may notice when we're doing this, the template is a little longer than the board. That's because if you get one the size of the template, the saw won't be able to go through there. So I've used a little smaller board. And then I'm going to take some extra blocks that I have from some extra maple there. And where the template overhangs, we're going to glue that on the side there. Now if you're painting this a solid color, this is perfectly fine to do. If your grain's going to show, you may think about what kind of finish you're going to have. The finish I'm using is actually a sunburst finish, which will hide any kind of joint mark. Now you see here I'm marking where this goes on those boards. I'm also marking where the template's going to lay on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to add my extra block onto this side as well. Okay, now to join these two boards, I'm going to plane that inside edge until I get a real nice tight fit between the two. Basically, when you put them together and hold them up to a light, you should plane them until you don't see any light coming through anymore. So I've just clamped them down. I'm taking a hand plane. I'm just going to plane these nice and square. Now as you plane it, you'll want to test fit it with your other block until you get that nice fit. And just keep making adjustments and plane it down until you get it to where there's no light coming in through the joint. and work back and forth between the two boards, making those adjustments on whichever piece needed. And once you've got your good fit, it'll be time to glue it up. But before you do the final glue up, you do need to plane those outside blocks if you're using them so that they fit flush as well. Sorry, I got to move the camera there. Now once everything's ready, I'm going to use a couple of pipe clamps. These are readily available, and they're made to fit on just a regular piece of like black iron or galvanized pipe. Just get the right size pipe for the clamps that you have. Usually they're available in either a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch size. You can see how one end just fits in there, screws into the clamp. Then the other end just slides over that. You can also save a little money by getting a long piece of pipe and cutting it usually in half to make 2 clamps out of it. Only one end of the pipe has to be threaded. The end that just functions as a stop just slides over the pipe. It doesn't actually screw in. As you can see, it can be kind of a tight fit. But then that adjusts to whatever width you need. And I'm using these clamps on the wider sections of the Archtop, and I'll use some shorter bar clamps there on the narrower sections. Now I'm just getting these adjusted so that I can get ready to do the glue up. I'm just going to slide these clamps underneath the boards, kind of get them positioned where they're going to be needed. Okay, once everything's in position, we're ready to apply the glue. I'm just using a basic carpenter's wood glue. I'm just going to smooth those glue beads out a little bit. Make sure the surface is well coated. And then I'm going to apply some glue to those outside wings. Smooth those out as well. And then place those in position according to the marks that you made. And now pay special attention here to how the two main pieces line up. Make sure that they're lined up by the thickness as well. The top and the bottom of the pieces need to mate as evenly as you can. So slowly start to tighten up the clamps, making sure that everything stays in place. You may have to make some readjustments as you start to put the pressure onto the boards. And if they're a little off as far as that thickness goes, it's okay. It's just more planing work that you'll have to do later. You can see that that side wing is a little off on it, but it's going to be okay. That's going to be shaved down anyway. And I'm going to clean off any excess glue. Just make sure everything's tightened up. Then I'm going to flip it over, and I'll probably have some excess glue there to clean up as well. I tend to be a little heavy-handed with the glue, but that's okay. Now you can see how these are set up, and we're going to let this dry overnight. And now after they're dried and taken out of the clamps, you can see the two pieces here. I'm going to start with a compass. And a coping saw, a couple of clamps, and our 2 boards. And I'm going to take our template and the template, we're going to leave a little extra wood on the outside of this so that it overhangs the sides. I'm just going to put a pin inside the compass, and you'll see how I'm going to use the compass to give us that extra width and keep it uniform all the way around. So I've lined the template up on the center line, and you can see how the compass leaves a little extra gap there. Again, that way we know that we've got enough material if the sides are a little off. And then this also allows us to shape it to fit once it's glued up to the sides. Again, this goes back to the process of cutting things a little larger and then trimming them and shaping them to fit. And I'm just going to flip it over, realign the template with the center line, and repeat that on the other side. Now I just take the coping saw and clamp down the board, and we're going to cut that out. Remember, these cuts don't have to be perfect. We've got that extra room that's going to be trimmed off anyway. Okay, and there's our finished product there. And you'll want to repeat this again for both pieces.